Alright, I want to just do a short little video today. I decided I wanted to use the Scarf Buzzwole in OU. Scarf Buzzwole is pretty fun because close combat and 139 base attack. So you're going to be hitting pretty hard even though you aren't, a banded Buzzwole with Adam in nature, right? You still are going to be hitting pretty hard. And Leech Life is there as backup just so we can get a bit of recovery. And it is our secondary stab, so it's not a bad move to have overall. Then in the back we've got Ice Punch and Rock Slide. Ice Punch for things like Dragapult, and otherwise Rock Slide is really only there for things like Zapdos, and that's about it really. I don't really know if we want to click Rock Slide altogether that much. Maybe if we need to deal with a Pelipper we can click Rock Slide too, but that's about it. And then Choice Scarf, you basically just want to lock yourself into close combat near the end of the game and just sweep from there. Now, one downside to using Scarf Buzzwole is that it speed ties with Zeraora, which gives you an idea of the speed tier that this mon hits. It is a Choice Scarfed mon, it's going to be faster than a lot of the things on the field, but only to the extent that a non-Choice Scarfed mon in OU will currently hit, right? Zeraora just is that same speed tier. Which is sort of crazy to think about how fast speed has gotten out of hand in Pokemon, but also goes to show that Buzzwole's base 79 speed just doesn't really cut it anymore as a good choice Scarfer. So it's not a good choice Scarfmon, I don't think, but it's still a fun one to use, so I'm going to try it out. In combination with Buzzwole, we want to use the Choice Specs Tapu Lele with Future Sight. Of course, you could run something maybe a bit more defensive like a Glaring Slowking, or even maybe a normal Slowking. And then that would give you the option of hitting Future Sight as well there. And the main point of having Future Sight along Buzzwole is that Future Sight forces in things like Dark types or Steel types that the Buzzwole wants to be able to hit. So you can force those kinds of switches and then the Buzzwole will get a kill guaranteed that turn, right? And then if you get that +1, well now you're even more of a threat. That's sort of the idea there. And on top of Lele is going to be choice specs, so it's really hard to switch into that, generally speaking. This particular set is going to be modest. We may regret that later, but we'll see. Okay. Next up, we've got an offensive Lando with SD3 attacks. I just wanted to hit things hard today, right? And so I'm not really going to be thinking a lot. I'm just going to be setting up and trying to sweep. Maybe this will be a bad idea. Maybe I'd be better served with a Defog Toxic U-turn set, but I just want to set up and try to kill things. But on the other hand, I guess we will have one defensive Pokemon that will be Blissey. Blissey is great for special things like Regieleki and Special Dragapult and Heatran. Maybe Heatran to a lesser extent, depending on if it has Taunt. And this is going to have Teleport, and the main thing, the reason why the Bliss is here besides being a good special sponge, is that Teleport allows us to teleport into Buzzwole so that it can force that turn 3 for the Future Sight. And it has Thunder Wave as well, which will both help out the Buzzwole and the Tapu Lele, and the Victini to some extent. So hopefully we can spread some status there. Now you notice that this Bliss does not have Stealth Rock, and as a result we have no hazards on this team. And we have no Defog either, so we just have to be really offensively minded with this team. Victini, this Pokemon could also be Magnezone, I think, in this slot. Magnezone would be better if we're trying to trap Corviknight, but I think that Victini does deal with the Steel types like Magnezone itself, but Corviknight and Ferrothorn and Melmetal. So those would be some pretty problematic Pokemon. And of course, Buzzwole wants to hit 2 of them. Doesn't want to deal with the Corviknight still if it can help it, but this Pokemon just deals with the whole gamut, and that will be another good thing to force with the Future Sights. The only thing that this team really struggles with, I think, is Heatran, because nothing here can reliably hit Heatran except for the Buzzwole and the Landorus, and of course Heatran's can switch versus those, so it's just a matter of forcing the Future Sight on the right turns. Will we be able to do that? Who knows? This is going to be heavy duty boots, so we don't completely get destroyed by hazards, and U-turns, so we can get some sort of momentum going. Finally, we can have Gengar. This is going to be a Choice Scarf Gengar. That way we can hit that nice 110 plus Choice Scarf. That'll outspeed Kartana. And because the Buzzwole is just not a sufficient Choice Scarfer to actually give us good speed here. So this Gengar will outspeed just about everything. And we got Destiny Bond here in case I need to take something annoying down. I think that probably is going to end up being better than Trick. Anyway, let's look for a battle. Alright, and for our first opponent, we've got a team that's fairly standard. They do have a Corviknight, which is a problem. A Volcanion, in theory, is a problem. It just depends on what kind of plays my opponent wants to make. Because I do have the Blissey, and the Blissey should deal with even Specs Volcanion okay. But if they want to go into one of the really scary physical attackers over here, that could be a major issue. I think leading with Victini is a little bit obvious, but I still think I'll try it. As they do lead it off with a Volcanion. This will scout to see if the Choice Scarf. I don't think they will be though. We'll just go Blissey. And now we have to do... I think Teleport is always the correct play here. I say go Corviknight, yep. And that checks out. And now I can go back into Victini. And I feel like they should never stay in against me. So I think Bolt Strike is pretty free. As I actually get a pair on the Slowbro, which is fantastic. I could U-turn here, but I don't really feel like it. First of all, they don't know what set I am, necessarily. And also, I don't want to take the extra chip for something that's just going to get regenerated anyway. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into my Tapu Lele as they go for Teleport. And they don't know if I'm Choice Scarfed, but yeah, they go Rillaboom, which is fine. Now here's the sad thing about Choice Scarf Buzzwole. If you get knocked off, which I feel like is definitely going to happen here, then you don't get to keep your Choice Scarf. So, a bit unfortunate. But they actually U-turn there, which is cool. So they know I'm not Rocky Helmet or Leftovers. But I think that should be okay. Blissey still should be fine as they go double into Garchomp. But I can just teleport here. That's not an issue. And I can go into my... let's just double check. Tapu Lele versus Garchomp. And we're going to put Choice Scarf on this. And Moonblast kills. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bluff the Choice Scarf here. And I'm going to throw off a Moonblast. Oh, well, I guess they just don't care. Well, that's fine. Now we'll just Ice Punch here. Now they should always switch, but they should have switched last turn and they didn't. So what are you gonna do? Okay, they get paralyzed there, so that's nice. We won't call that justice, but that's good still. They have Mirror Armor Corviknight, so I guess that tells you something about my opponent. I'm gonna Shadow Ball again. They go for U-turn, yeah. I'm not terribly concerned about that. Yeah, that was a crazy play by my opponent. Go Garchomp. I'm just going to stay in again. I don't want him to set up again. Okay. And now I'm going to go into Landorus. Landorus beats Garchomp in most situations as far as I can tell. Okay. And now I'm going to go for knockoff. As I get paralyzed, I will take it. And I'm going to click knockoff again. Cool. So the Landorus gets rid of Slowbro, which is quite useful. And at this point, I feel like you have to go for a grass move. This is still a very useful Pokemon against the Volcanion and against the Garchomp, but I feel like at this point you have to go for a grass move. So I'm going to go into my Buzzwole here. Just in case they decide to U-turn or knock off. Yeah, as they would hammer, that's fine. And now I'm going to click Close Combat. That'll do the most to everything coming in. And as we can see, that's a 2-hit KO on Volcanion. Now I'm a +1. I'll take it. And their Corviknight is at 46%, so it can't really come in on me. I'm going to go into the I'm gonna go into the Blissey. Blissey's not doing anything at this point, as they go for Toxic. So that's fine. At this point, I'm gonna go into my Victini now, because that sort of shows me that they don't really have much for this. And I get to click the pretty free Glaciate now. Corviknight, fair enough. Okay, now I'm gonna click V-Create. Yeah, I just didn't want them to go Garchomp. We have to go back into Landorus now. I think an offensive Earthquake will take them out. So at this point, I'm actually going to go into Buzzwole. Because yeah, they go Rillaboom here all the ways. I think that makes the most sense. And I'm going to click the Ice Punch. Because I think that's the best mid-ground against this. Although I don't know, maybe not. Okay. What do you think they go for now, huh? Go hard Victini. Maybe that's a bit of a choke. I think that's the most offensive play. Just going to click V-Create here. If they go into Garchomp, which they did this time, and that's fine, I will take it. As I can now go into my Blissey. They got Grassy Terrain for this turn. So Earthquake won't two-shot me, and I can just Seismic Toss them. That's fine, I don't care. Now they can go into Rillaboom. As I'm going to just click Thunder Wave on you. Whatever's most annoying. Actually, Wood Hammer is sort of the best case scenario there for me. At this point, their item, if they are Choice Banded, I think V-Create is the best move here. Because this opposing Buzzwole is sort of stopping my Buzzwole from doing anything. Okay, normally they hit 241 speed. Means they outspeed me. So I'm going to go into my own Buzzwole. As they go for Roost. Okay. I'm going to go into my Landorus. As I'm just going to click Knock Off first. And then I'll click Stone Edge. Or whatever that will do. And I get to go back into Victini. And we go for the V-Create. And then I go for the... I have to go for a V-Create crit, I think. And even that probably won't kill. Oh no, that did kill. That did kill. Yeah, okay. So we play Tor outs. For whatever that's worth. I feel like you should Grassy Glide here if you're banded, because if I switch out and I switch back in, then I should kill you, right? Yeah, so you have to Grassy Glide there. And I get to quick Leech Life. And I win. So, I gotta say, overall, we did get lucky in this battle on at least a few turns, right? We played Tor out of the V-Create crit, and then we also got a couple of lucky Thunder Wave pairs. It wasn't even Thunder Wave pair, it was a Bolt Strike pair with Slowbro. Now, I'll take a Bolt Strike pair. Those aren't terribly uncommon, but getting those pairs were useful. But yeah, that's the game. I think that they should not have stayed in with their Garchomp. So, you know, take that for what you will. Alright, another Buzzwole. Opposing Buzzwoles are going to be an issue against us, and actually, maybe Rock Slide should be replaced with Dual Wing Beat. But I don't know how much that does. I'll consider that though, depending on how annoying this Buzzwole happens to be in this game. Okay, another Volcanion as well. That's very odd. And Zeraora, which, as we noted before, speed ties with us. So, interesting. Tapu Lele seems like an okay lead. As they are actually Choice Scarf, Tapu Fini. So I'm just going to click Psyshock here, as now I am Choice Scarfed Tapu Lele. So, you know, have fun switching into this. I mean, they can obviously go Ferrothorn, and if I wanted to, I could have switched in on that. But I think that's fun. Okay, now I'm just going to click the, what do I want to click here? Post combat? Okay. Just scout, see what their Buzzwole is, see what kind of player they are. So if this is the same as the last one, then what don't I need? I feel like I need the Landorus for the Zero Aura and the Volcanion. I don't really need the Blissey at all in this battle. So I'm going to click Seismic Toss here, because they are actually substitute Buzzwole. So that's very interesting. Okay. I need to go into Gengar and maybe click Destiny Bond here, I think. Let's just see what happens with max attack. So with max attack at +1, Ice Punch doesn't kill, Rock Slide doesn't kill. Does Buzzwole get anything that can be scary? Darkest Lariat. Okay, so it does get a dark move. But I think I can't depend on it having dark move, right? Because if I click Destiny Bond, it won't be any good. Okay, yeah, see, like right there. So now I'm just going to stay in and spam Shadow Ball. And the Buzzwole is at 50%, which means it'll be easier to kill later on. So I'll take that. Man, I wish we had Levitate still. That'd be real nice, wouldn't it? But hey, they're going to give us damage on Zero Aura. That'll be really good for later on. And they are disabled. Play rough there. Bit interesting, but I guess I thought I was going to go Buzzwole. That's fair, I suppose. At this point, I want to force in the their own Buzzwole, I think. So I'm going to go into my own Buzzwole, and then I'm going to go into Victini on a double that I don't think you stay in. Unfortunately, we lost, or we won that speed tie, and that showed that I was choice scarfed on that as well. V-Crate here, and now we Bolt Strike, because I think you should go Volcanion, as you do. And I'm just going to click Bolt Strike again. I'm not too concerned about Zero Aura, personally. As you go into Lando, okay. I'm going to go into my own Landers, because they've let their Zero Aura get weakened. So I think that's an okay play to make. At this point, if I click Knock Off, their Landers takes a decent chunk. And I'm now going to click Sword Stance up, as they may want to go into Buzzwole here, or Volcanion. If they go Ferrothorn, that's an interesting play. Maybe they'll double back to Landorus here to get an Intimidate off. I could see that happening. But no, they decide to just throw off a Leech Seed. Whatever. I'm going to click Earthquake again. Okay, and now I'll Stone Edge, because I feel like this is the turn you switch out. Because you saw that Earthquake did 70 before, right? So you should go into Landorus, so he's good. I get a crit there, which I don't know if that mattered. And we should still be healthy enough to live any one hit from Zero Aura. So I'm going to Sword Stance again, as they actually did not protect that turn. I'm a little bit surprised at that. But hey, if I'm making plays, I guess my opponent can make plays too. And now something will die this turn, right? Even Buzzwole coming in is not going to appreciate this. And that's what I want at the end of the day, is to have the Buzzwole weakened, right? So at this point, we go into the Tapu Lele, I think, and just win. Let's just double check this. How much does Ferrothorn take? Just assume this, I don't know. That'll be the most physically defensive, meaning that my Psyshock will be the weakest against it. It only does 23 to 28%, so it is out of range of that, unfortunately. So I can't do that. Gotta go Victini here. So looking at their team, Victini versus this. What kills you? Nothing besides V-Crate. As they protect, just to be annoying. I'm just going to V-Crate again. Because I don't want to over-predict. Yeah. See, now I've gotten rid of the Ferrothorn. Because they let me get rid of the Ferrothorn, what do they have now for Choice Scarf Tapu Lele? Good. That was a pretty important play. I think my opponent definitely just could have been smarter about that. I'm going to U-turn here. I don't need my Victini anymore. As we actually live, which is nice. And now we get to go in here and Size Shock 3 times and we win the game. Because I don't think Volcanion lives Size Shock. And if I were Choice Specs Tapu Lele, I don't know if I would have won the game from here. They still had that Buzzwole. But I'm pretty sure that this is just going to click Size Shock 3 times and win the game. So good. Yeah. I think I am going to change this to be Dual Wing Beat. Let's just do a quick calc on this and see if that's actually worth it. Seems sort of crazy because it's 4 times super effective. But at the same time, Dual Wing Beat is a pretty weak move, and it's not a stab. So no, that is a decent chunk. So I think Dual Wing Beat is probably better just for the Buzzwole mirror matchup. So we'll try that and see. Of course, now that we're trying it, now we're not going to fight any more Buzzwoles. So there you go. I believe found a Surf Etched for whatever that's worth. And a Miltank. I gotta say, my opponent's team, really fun. Mad respect to my opponent for bringing a team like this. Surf Etched is always a cool Pokemon, and Miltank is an interesting pick. And actually sort of is annoying against the Gengar and against the... If it's thick fat, then against the Victini. Okay. So, if they lead off with Dragapult, then that's a problem. If I lead off with Gengar, then that just means they bring in Miltank, and I don't want the Miltank to come in. So, and I need to keep the Landorus healthy at all times, at all costs, because the Regieleki will sweep otherwise. I mean, I do have Blissey, but like, Blissey's not the greatest Regieleki answer. I want to lead off with Tapu Lele, because if they lead off with a lot of this, they don't really have much for this to switch in. So I'm actually going to click Future Sight here. That's the whole point. And now I get to go into the Victini. And at this point, you don't have anything that can come in on a V-Create and a Future Sight. So now something dies. Good. So we got rid of the Ferrothorn. They only got 1 Spike, which I can deal with. That's not the end of the world. And now at this point, they go Primarina, which I'm going to go Blissey. As they flip turn, as they should have. Good. That was a good play on my opponent's part. Now they're going to go into Surf Etched. And they see that I have Ferrothorn. And Gengar. Will they actually click the... will they actually click the Close Combat? I don't think so. They'll click Knockoff. That's what I thought. And so now I'm going to go back into Tapu Lele. And at this point, I'm going to click the Moonblast. I think that's a strong play. There's no reason for me not to, right? I don't need my terrain to do what I want to do. And I'm just going to click Moonblast again. Like, so what if you stay in? Okay, Choice Specs Primarina, that's cool. At this point, my Buzzwole is getting pretty close. However, they do have the Regieleki, so I don't really know how good it is. I can't lock myself into close combat, though, because, first of all, will I kill this? Probably, but then Dragapult comes out. Ice Punch, definitely not going to kill this, and it puts me in a weird position against Miltank. So I think it would be better if I went into Victini. Probably. And I clicked Volt Strike. Does it go Miltank, and I get the Para, which I will take, and I'm going to click U-turn. They should know I am Heavy Duty Boots because I didn't take hazards, so there's no point bluffing that. And I'm just going to go into the... Now I'm going to go Landorus here. Get the paralysis off as well. And I can just start spamming Knockoff. Right, that'll get rid of this thing's leftovers. It will kill Primarina. And Dragapult, of course, can't come in on it. If I'm Spidef Lando, which you don't know if I am, then I think that you are in a bit of a pickle. I'm gonna knock off here. They are specs. Okay. Fair enough. So now they are -2. I'm going to see how much Sludge Wave does to Miltank. Let's just do a mixed wall. Focus Blast kills. Sludge Wave does 45. So if I go for Focus Blast, I will kill. I'm going to go Gengar here, and I'm going to Shadow Ball. They may try to stay in, although I really don't think they will. I really don't think that they would do such a thing, but I don't know my opponent. Okay, they do go Miltank, that's fine. I'm going to go Buzzwole here. And if they decide to double, then I can Ice Punch at that point, right? And I think I do have to Ice Punch here. I think my opponent may try to play safely. Okay, so go for Thunder Wave, that's fair. So at this point, I'm just going to go into Blissey, as I'm going to Thunder Wave you. You're special. Oh, good. So they actually let me Thunder Wave the Dragapult, which will help for sure. And they don't really beat this Blissey at this point very well, because the Miltank is fine, but I don't actually know what the Miltank has. It could be a 0 attack Miltank, hopefully not. It could also be a Seismic Toss Miltank. If it's Seismic Toss Milk Drink, then I don't think they want to play that game versus a Blissey who has way more HP than they do. So, yeah. Cool team on my opponent's part. I think I definitely played the beginning of the game well. Maybe the end of the game I could have played better. Probably shouldn't have thrown away my Lele so cavalierly. But you know, I made that play and I stand by it. Alright, let's get one more. Alright. Part of me regrets getting one more. Now we've got a really annoying, like... What is this team? Is this Trick Room? I literally don't know what I'm looking at here. It's a very ugly team. I'm going to lead off with Victini. I think that might be a good play, as I'm going to click Bolt Strike here. I do know they can have knockoff, and that would be sad. But if I can get a pair on the Tornadus, that'd be great, right? And I don't know what they're going to do. They could go Slowbro, which we've seen before. That takes a decent chunk of damage as well. I need to keep my breakers in the back if I can. I'm thinking if I can kill Melmetal with the Gengar, that might be something to consider. Umbreon might have to kill me as well. My Gengar could have Trick, and they also don't know that. Gengar, the Scarf, usually has Trick. And if I don't show Nasty Plot or Black Sludge, then they should know that I'm choiced. And then they may play it in such a way that they go into a mon that won't mind being tricked away. The Umbreon is definitely an annoying Pokemon. If I can get rid of that early, that would be fantastic. Because it really, that's the only thing stopping all these ghost types and ghost weeks from getting messed up. Because they go for that, and that's fine. And I'm going to go for the Bolt Strike again. I don't think that's a big problem. This may be Lightning Rod, I don't know. But let's see how much damage this does. Okay, we go to Victini. And Victini's Bolt Strike did 27%. And no, we did 22%. So this is like something in that range. Yeah, this is like max defense. Okay. So V-Create is going to not maybe be a 2-hit KO. What do here? What do here me think? Okay, I'm going to go into... I'm going to go for V-Create. Yeah, okay. So I click this, and now I'm going to go into my Tapu Lele, because I feel like you should always protect here, because that actually did a decent amount, as they do protect good. Now I'm going to click the Moonblast. They should protect now again, to see what I'm going to lock myself into, as they do. That's good. Now I get to go into my Buzzwole, because I don't care about the Umbreon staying in, and I can deal with the Melmetal, I think, is the way to think about it here. I'm going to click the Close Combat. The Slowbro probably will come out, but I just want to make some safe plays early on, see what my opponent's all about. Okay, I'm going to go into Blissey on the Torn, because I think they may try to U-turn again. Okay, they do. That's fair enough. But there's not much I could do about that. As they go into Alolan Marowak. And I'm going to just have to teleport here and take the Flare Blitz. Okay, and they are Rockhead, so that's good to note. I'm going to go into Landorus here. I think that's a stronger play. And I'm going to click Sword Stance. If they stay in, that's an insane play on my opponent's part, but they should always go Tornadus. And I'm going to click the Stone Edge here. They are like max defense Umbreon. So if they decide to U-turn into it, and they don't, if like, for instance, if I miss, then I don't know what that means, but it probably means bad things. Slowbro, if I hit it, I think should die to Earthquake as well. As they are Silvally Ground. I'm just going to click Earthquake. On a team like this, are you running max speed Timid Ice Beam? I didn't think so. So we just get to take out the Silvally, which in my opponent's mind probably is the weakest link. Because the heckin' Silvally's not doing anything. So what are you going to do? I'm going to go into the Buzzwole here, as Foul Play is not going to do anything. And I'm going to go for the Leech Life this time. And then the Leech Life will force in something that is weak to Landorus, I think. Yeah. So now I'm going to click Knock Off, because you don't have anything that I think wants to get knocked off, right? Like what here wants to get knocked off? This doesn't want to get knocked off. Even Umbreon now just lost some of its leftovers recovery. So I don't really think that's a strong position to be in. Go back into Buzzwole, because it doesn't care about Foul Play too much. And now, at this point, I feel like you're going to go into Tornadus. I'm going to go into Tapu Lele, as they go into Marowak. Okay, that's fine. So let's look at this, and then look at Choice Specs, Tapu Lele, and Psyshock Bill. I'm just going to go for that. Okay. I'm going to sack the Blissey. Doesn't do anything at this point, it's too low health. And I don't think I'm going to have a position where I get to bring it in against Slowbro. Probably not. Maybe I could have, finagled it somehow. But I don't really see that as being an option. This probably will convince them to want to stay in. I'm going to go back into Tapu Lele now. And the reason I'm going to go Tapu Lele here is because... well, I guess I didn't expect them to... I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the brightest play. They can always protect. No, I'm surprised they did that. I feel like they should not have. I'm going to go back into Landorus here, because I feel like you always go Melmetal here, right? You don't stay in with your Slowbro, it will die, and Melmetal will not. So Landorus is a pretty safe play, and as we see with the Umbreon being weakened like this, I should be able to Earthquake to a KO it. Okay, I'm going to Swords Dance up. What else does this Tornadus have? Toxic, Heat Wave, Taunt. Okay, it does have Taunt. Okay, I'm going to just click Earthquake now. Because I don't know what this Tornadus has, really. Okay, they want me to hit it with a Stone Edge, apparently. That's what they want. So, or maybe they just successfully won that little battle. I'm going to click Earthquake here. I don't think you protect first. Yeah, you always wish first. And now you have to click Protect, I think. As they actually make that insane play, really. That's what you're going with. Okay. Did not think that was what was going to happen there. Okay. I should have just clicked Earthquake again. But I thought that was a bit too crazy. Let's see if they stay in. I don't think they will. Like, why would you stay in? But I also didn't think that they'd make those previous plays. Okay. Gonna just go to Tapu Lele now as they get more U-turn chip off. I could have stayed in, but I don't really know what that gets me. As they go Melmetal, they're gonna double into Lola Whack just to make even more crazy plays. Okay, they did. What is my opponent doing? I do not understand what my opponent's mentality is. I'm gonna go Gengar here and on quick Focus Blast. Right? We've got to hope my opponent makes some really stupid plays. And then I hope I have to crit the Umbreon, right? Okay, yeah, my opponent did not make some stupid play. They made good mid-ground there. Alright, that's unfortunate. I don't agree with those plays that my opponent made at all. Lead off with Buzzwole. A lot of people like to lead off with the Zoroark. And the Zoroark leads off well with a lot of these guys, right? It leads off well against Buzzwole leads off well against Zoroark. It leads off with the Magnezone. It leads off well against the Rillaboom, which I don't think you would disguise it as. It leads off well against the... Well, it doesn't lead off well against the Rotom Wash, I suppose. But I can go Blissey on that. As they click Volt Switch, so that was the Rotom. Good to know. As they go Weavile, and it is the Weavile. As we have to go Buzzwole here, unfortunately. But not unfortunately, we can just click Close Combat here and kill the Weavile. So that's one of those times where you don't stay in. Like that play was not the play to make. We go Magnezone. I don't care if you're Magnezone or not. As they were Chople, and we failed to kill. Crazy. Alright, well I wasn't expecting not to kill that. Okay, but that's fine. I can now go into the Landorus and just click Knock Off. I think is the correct play. That'll knock off the Rotom. It'll knock off the Landorus. And I think that's fine. Okay, we got a crit, which I will take. And you no longer have leftovers. At this point, you really click Volt Switch. I guess you click Pain Split. Teleport here, always the play. We don't want to let anything like Rillaboom come in. Yep, as they do, go into Rillaboom. I'm going to go Tapu Lele. And we're just going to click the Moonblast. The Moonblast, of course, is the safe play. They sack their Magnezone. At this point, they have no good Moonblast switch-ins, right? So we'll take that. We'll go back into Rillaboom. Of course, this is Rillaboom. I'm going to sack the Blissey. Okay, and that is the Landorus. I'm going to go into my own. To go for U-turn. Just to go into their Rillaboom. I wonder if this is Rillaboom. I'm going to go sack the Blissey here. As that is the Rillaboom. And now let's quickly look at this calc. I don't know what kind of lander is today, so we'll just do that set. Sure, why not? Against Gengar, Choice Scarfed. Battle Ball does a lot. Sludge Wave does nothing. I think Victini is probably the stronger play. And I'm just going to click the U-turn. It'll be super effective against the Rillaboom. And it will get momentum against the Rotom Wash. As well as doesn't let Zoroark come in. Hit as they go Landorus. And I can now go into the into my own Landorus, maybe. Except for I think Tapu Lele is stronger. Okay, we go Tapu Lele here. And I click Sight. Nope, I have to click Moonblast again. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to click Moonblast. No question about that. I don't know if that was Spidef Lando or not, but was necessary. Alright. At this point, I'm going to go Landorus to get the Intimidate off. I think it's the correct play. And now... I'm going to click Knock Off again here. Just to click Hydro Pump. And now I go into the Tapu Lele. And they don't know if I'm timid or modest is the main thing, right? And they were not timid themselves. Okay. I could have clicked Psyshock there and probably killed them. Although maybe not. Okay, this is definitely, of course, the Zoroark, as we are just going to click the Destiny Bond here. Okay, that's fine. And I'm going to now go into Victini, as they missed the Hydro Pump. That's really unfortunate for my opponent. That really hurts my opponent. Okay, now we go back into Gengar. And I will just go for Sludge Wave here. Okay, Sludge Wave. And then gonna go into Victini as they click Swords Dance. Yep. Now I click V-Create. And I'm just gonna click Focus Blast here. I've shown Destiny Bond, but they don't care about that. Okay. Fair enough. Try to end it on a win. I think my opponent played that one fine. I don't really see too many bad plays on my opponent's part there. Let's see. This is an interesting game. They have a Wrap Blocked and... I'm going to sell a Stila. I don't know if it's an offensive or a defensive one. I'm going to lead off with Gengar. I don't feel like it gets a whole lot of usage in this, and if I can just get a kill, that'd be great. Cool, I'll take it. And now I'm just going to click the U-turn here as they win the speed tie, unfortunately. And now I'm going to go Gengar. Gengar does not have much value in this game, and the one thing it does do is it puts them in a weird position against a lot of these threats, right? If you think that I'm Choice Scarf, you can't really go into Blacephalon. If you think that I have Trick, then going to Bisharp and Sucker Punching is a bad play. And since I haven't gone for a move yet, then you can't really go for the Sucker Punch, because I could just have Focus Blast. Okay, I'm gonna go Blissey here, as they decided to scout for the Focus Blast in that way. So, cool for them. Now they have a bit of information. I think that was an okay play on their part. There was no way I was going to Shadow Ball this opponent. I think this opponent does know what they're doing, since they have this little ladder tour tag. And, I mean, 15-15 is not a great rank, but I don't know how many battles they've played. Okay. That's fine. I can deal with that. Buzzwole here doesn't really have too much use for its Choice Scarf, aside from Garchomp, I suppose. And now I'm just going to go for the... Dual Wing Beat. Yeah, for style points. Style points, close combat. Close combat next. You're not going to switch in your Blacephalon into that and take damage. You might try to get your Celesteela in though. This is what I'm thinking there. So if you decide to go Celesteela and be a bit cheeky. Oh my stars, they went into their Blacephalon. Why would you ever make that play? I mean, you're not going to die. I know you're not going to die. But still, that is an insane play. Okay, we're just going to click teleport here. I don't really think that's too bad of an idea. And I can go back into Buzzwole. And I'm going to click Leech Life here. I mean, Leech Life doesn't get me too much out of it. But if they stay in is the main thing. And I can just click Ice Punch and as a follow-up. They may try to go Blacephalon again because they're insane. Okay, let's double down. Because they went for Fire Fang and failed to kill. I'm going to go into my Gengar. We are Choice Scarfed. And what I don't want is the Blacephalon to come out, right? Blacephalon is still a major threat. They tricked my Blissey, which is annoying, but it's not the end of the world, I don't think. What is sort of the end of the world, though, is that even though I am a Choice Scarf Blissey, I'll have to take those hazards. And so that'll make me a lot worse at dealing with Blacephalon. So that's not fun. Because my opponent is sitting here and thinking, there's to go Celesteela. I'm just going to click Shadow Ball here. I don't really feel like there's any other play. As I go into Bisharp. Okay. As I'm going to go into Blissey at this point. Blissey doesn't do too much because this is not a reliable check to Blacephalon when it's Choice Scarfed and there's multiple hazards up on the field. So I think it's outlived its usefulness. And as this Bisharp comes in 2 more times, it will die to Shadow Ball. So it's not going to remain a Shadow Ball check for very much longer. And the reason why my opponent didn't want to go for Meteor Beam or whatever there is because if they killed me and I went for Destiny Bomb, then that was going to be a sad day for them. So at this point, I'm going to go Tapu Lele. And we're just going to click the Moonblast. I think we have to click Moonblast here. Even though that lets in the Blacephalon. I really want to click Psyshock so bad. Okay, they make the good mid-ground and they go Grap Lock, right? I think that's a smart play. And the reason I went into Tapu Lele is because later on, if we're going to be playing Sucker Punch Wars, I'd like the terrain to be up, if at all possible. So at this point, let's see, Landorus has Stone Edge and Knockoff, but if Knockoff is weakened because they won't have an item on Celesteela anymore, then I think I'd prefer to have Victini. They probably should go Celesteela and Autotomize, if anything. Because Autotomize will win them the game. But again, I'm making an assumption that that's the set that they're running, right? Autotomize, Meteor Beam, Air Slash, and Earthquake for Magnezone, maybe. But that could be not at all what they have, and they could have some Leech Seed, Heavy Slam, Protect nonsense. With Flamethrower for Ferrothorn. What else? What else we got? Yeah, so we have Psychic Terrain up, so if I make a sack, then Shadow Ball is a really good move to click, because Celesteela, if they're offensive, they don't want to switch in. And if they're defensive, I guess they could. But I could always get a Spit F drop too. Okay, they do go Celesteela. There we go. That's what we wanted to see them do. I'm going to go into my Landorus, I think. As I do go for Autotomize, and I just have to start clicking Stone Edge. That's the only play I got. Go for Air Slash, and I go, and I get 35% off, which is not very good. As I'm going to click Knock Off so they don't have their Power Herb anymore. I think that was pretty important. Okay, as they do that. At this point, they cannot go for Meteor Beam. And that was the main thing. So now I'm going to go for Bolt Strike. And they actually get the flinch. Okay. So if they didn't get that flinch there, then that would have been okay. I don't think that would have been GG right there either way. There was still more game to play, but if they didn't get that flinch, then we would have been fine. But they sort of lucked me there. Alright. I'm going to lead off with Victini. And I'm going to click U-turn, because you have those water grounds in the back. You should always go into those. Alright, I'll click V-Create now. Might as well. You're going to stay in like that. But I don't think they will. I think they are just going to protect to see what kind of player I am, and then they're still going to switch out. I mean, if they stay in, that would be an awful play. But yeah, they go Quagsire. So that's fine. And now I'm going to click the U-turn, which is probably what I should have done the last turn, but you never know. And I'm going to go Tapu Lele, because I don't really feel like you can switch in well to this, and I'm going to click Future Sight first. Specs Future Sight is not anything to sneeze at. And now we go Victini. I guess the problem with this Victini in particular is that it can click Protect, and then that'll stall out the Future Sight. So I'm going to click U-turn here, because you always Protect. Right? They've shown Protect, yep. And they got their wish back, so 100%. And at this point, you don't stay in, you always switch out. Yep, as they go Quagsire. And I'm going to go back to the Tapu Lele here. And I'm going to go into Landorus now. I think that's the play. They've already shown that they don't want to stay in against that, yep. I'm going to click the knockoff first, because they could go into Skarmory or any number of things like that. And that was leftovers. They already have an unaware Mon on their team. Do you really have 2 unaware Mons on your team? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe you do. Go Skarmory here. So go for Toxic. At this point, Stone Edge. Because they may want to Roost, right? They should go Quagsire, is my thought. Okay. Well, I'm just going to forfeit here. I don't feel like playing that game. That's not the kind of game I wanted to play when I loaded up my team builder today. Let's lead off with the Gengar, in case they decide to lead off with their anything that is not Blissey. I'm going to click Destiny Bond here, as they go for Stealth Rock. I'm getting all of those Destiny Bond plays wrong. I don't know what's with me. I guess my opponents just don't respect Gengar. I felt like that was a pretty free turn 1, whatchamacallit. Free turn 1 Earthquake. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, we're going to click Earthquake here. We're at +2. They can go Zapdos and double back into Garchomp all they want. But they don't actually do that, so they lose their Zapdos. And I'll take it. That was one thing that was stopping my Buzzwole. Okay, they're going to go into this. I don't have anything for it, so we're just going to click Earthquake and sack the Landorus. Okay, I'm going to go into my Tapu Lele now. Feel like you're going to be scared of this being Choice Scarf, right? And you'll switch out as they go Slowbro. Okay. You go Gengar on this. There's the teleport, which is fine. As they go back into Urshifu. And I'm going to click Destiny Bond again, because I'll take that. Yep, I didn't need the Gengar, right? They have the Blissey, and I don't really feel like that my Gengar is going to get too much done with the Blissey. Okay. What are we thinking here? What are they going to go into? They're going to go into something really passive, or they're going to go into Tapu Lele. I'm going to go into Buzzwole. Okay, they go into Tapu Lele. They go into Blissey. Blissey's here for their Tapu Lele. And they can go for their own Size Shock, I suppose, and that would be a problem. But aside from that, I should be okay. Yep, and they Size Shock. So, I'm going to sack this. Nothing doing really. Seismic Toss is a better play. Yep. Okay. I will go. No, I'm just gonna sack this. Yeah. Okay, top of Lily again. Top of Lily time. And click Psyshock again. Yeah, this time they go Blissey. And I'm going to I'm gonna go into the Buzzwole here. Is that you have the slow bro. I'm gonna click Leech Life now. Hopefully they don't get a first turn Scald Burn as they actually go for Future Sight. I don't know how I feel about that play. Go Blissey. And at this point, Guard Trump comes out, which I think is a good idea for my opponent. And I'm just going to, I'm going to calc first. Okay, they're clearly a tank and +1 attack. Leech Life does half. I'll take it. Not the greatest amount, but it's not the end of the world either. And now we go top of Lele, and Moonblast is now free. So we're definitely going to go for Moonblast. I don't know how much speed Tank Chomp runs. 97. So they actually probably outspeed and just kill me here. But we shall see what my opponent decides to do. They go slow bro, and they just die. So that's cool. I'm gonna go for Moonblast again. I guess this entire time they may have thought I was choice specs. Okay, I'm gonna go for Glaciate. And now I go for the Bolt Strike. I have to hope for like a Powerful Pair or something. This is the last thing I cannot lower my speed. And now I have to see if Glaciate kills. As it does. Okay, there you go. So Victini coming clutch there at the end. Alright, takeaways from this team. Gengar. Destiny Bond is a bad move if you're a bad player like me. Maybe a Scarf Dragapult would have been more useful on this team. Would have been faster, would have had a fire move, and I know how to play with Dragapult a lot better. So maybe next time I will use a Scarf Dragapult. But it feels like Scarf Dragapult is a little bit overkill. The Lele, I think I bluffed it okay a couple of times, but then some other people were just making crazy plays. And the Blissey, I don't like Blissey as a Pokemon generally speaking. I think maybe I could have had a better teleporter here. Maybe a Slowbro of some sort here might have been better. Victini was okay. I think in certain matchups it does well, in certain matchups it doesn't do well. It just depends. Orlando was alright as well. And this, yeah, the Tapu Lele plus Buzzwole did what it was supposed to do most of the time, except for against that Jirachi. So, You know, sometimes you want to just load up the ladder and play some mindless games, but then you realize your alt is too high up on the ladder and people are trying hard. Maybe I should get a new alt when I want to play games like this. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.